do 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 do.
For a second there, I thought you were doing like Lady Gaga. Ba ra 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 ra.
No, that is a catchy song.
It is, yeah.
I was just making stretching things for my throat or something. I don't know what I was doing.
Warming things up.
Yes, exactly. So I assume Jordan's take on our opening intro is permanent now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, it was very good. Oh, I said, this Jordan knows what he's doing. And then he was like, I did some beatboxing in high school. And I was like, what? I was learned so much from that podcast.
But I'm still disappointed he would not beatbox for me.
No, he would not. We talked about this on the Discord a little bit. There's a link to the Discord in the show notes if you want to come hang out with me and Wade and other cool people. But basically, I said, you've kind of developed something of a troll persona? Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, I'd say it's a thing.
Okay. And so he's dealing with you, and he likes you. Like, you got along fine during the podcast, but he wasn't quite sure if he could trust you. And you said, well, there was 45 minutes of stuff there that he talked to me about that I didn't use in the pod because he didn't want me to. And I made the point that, well, he didn't know that at the time. He couldn't look into the future and say, well, you're right. Wade, in the future, will choose not to use the parts of the pod I don't want him to, so I'll trust him in this moment.
No, that's exactly what happened. He said, okay, look... We talked for a few, like, every now and then there'd be a topic that would come up, and we'd talk, and then be like, actually, can you cut that?
Yeah.
You know, maybe we shouldn't use this, but we had a short conversation about, or what, like, whatever.
Sure. I mean, he trusted you, but it's not something that he consciously decided to do and then trust you afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of came up, and he said, well, I don't really have a choice other than to ask him not to include this, right?
I mean, if he didn't want me to include it, he could just not do it.
Well, I don't know. It feels like stuff came up just naturally in the flow of conversation. Whereas if he decides to beatbox for you, that's a decision. Like, he thinks about it beforehand and decides whether to or not. It's a different thing.
I don't think it is a different thing. He could just say, look, well, I don't want this used in the podcast, so I'm just going to skip to the next conversation topic. That's just as fine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we had him here, he could probably tell us his thought process was. But I just kind of feel like there's a difference. If that's what was going on, right? If it was just he's talking about something and in the flow of things, it comes out and he goes, oh, after the fact, I really didn't really intend to say that. He's not really in a position to put his trust in you. He's asking for your trust and hoping that it's there.
Right.
I don't know. It just feels like a different situation. That's all. We spent too much time on this. Anyway, the point is that Jordan was a very excellent guest. We have some other future guests ready to go for you guys in the next couple of weeks here. So this is just going to be me and Wade. We'll need some time to get reacquainted, get our relationship back on track, and then we'll bring somebody else into the mix. I believe is how that usually works in relationships.
I'm questioning your relationship with your wife.
No response. Yes. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the reason that I wasn't up last week, if you watched the Gauntlet Global Open, the official story is that I tried to download some RAM for my computer and got a virus, which, yes, that does happen sometimes to people. If you attempt to download RAM, sometimes it's bad RAM and it does cause a problem with your computer. So that's why I didn't do the Gauntlet, and that's why I wasn't there for the podcast either. So emergency guest Wade set it up without even talking to me about it. I was really stressed out with this, and I was worried about the pod, and he said, don't worry about it, man. We got this taken care of, and it was great. So thank you, Wade, for taking care of that.
I actually forgot to tell you until, like, we were already recording.
Yes, and that's fine. Did I talk to you? I think I maybe pinged you and said, can we postpone this, or...
Yeah, you were like, my computer might be ready tomorrow. Do you want to do it? I'm like, don't worry, I'm already recording.
Yeah, that's what it was. You were recording earlier, like the day before, and I was trying to give you heads up, but no, that did not work out at all. It was not heads up. It was actually too late, but I suppose better late than never. And I was doing my best. Intention matters, I think, here.
Yes.
So anyway, long story short, if you're going to upgrade a computer that's 5 years old, just upgrade the whole thing. Don't try to piecemeal it together. Like, unless you're doing a hard drive, I guess. A hard drive is probably fine. And maybe a graphics card. But the rest of it, just the whole stupid thing and start over from scratch. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got the parts on order. I should have them here fairly soon. And then hopefully we'll get some fancy pants, less than a decade or more in computer time old processor and some real nice streaming quality, and everybody will be pleased.
Woo.
Done. Hooray, it's a miracle. It has been way more of an ordeal than I thought it would, and it kind of I wish I hadn't been, but no use crying over spilled milk is what I tell my kids, because boy, do they spill milk a lot.
At what point do you stop, like, the rule being no point crying over spilt milk to make sure you just grab your cup real tight? Like, because eventually you're spilling the milk adds up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Milk's not cheap. Let's not mistake it. So it's not necessarily that they're drinking it and it spills. It's they're gesticulating wildly at dinner, right?
Yeah.
And an arm errantly flings across the table and knocks over their milk. And in that case, it's not like, well, just hold it tighter. It's like, stop making crazy gestures at dinner, you guys.
Point still stands that a preventative measure is better than just being like, well, nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a two-pronged thing here.
Right.
Don't freak out about it, but let's make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you have a linen tablecloth? Or I've seen, like, when I was younger, people had kind of like lino tablecloths.
Right.
If you have a lino one, if they spill their milk, just give them a straw.
Right.
And they can
clean it up. It's gross, but they could.
I mean, they're kids. They do gross things.
They are. Actually, no. We bust out the linen tablecloth sometimes. Like, I think we've had it out once in the last 3 months. No, we don't have any other tablecloths otherwise. It's just straight up on the table. I mean, it's just a kind of a fairly cheap IKEA wooden table, and it cleans easily, and it's not a huge deal. But,
right.
Yeah, adventures in spilled milk. That's what I have to say. Hey, guess what, Wade?
What's up?
I watched the first episode of Log Horizon.
Yay! It's about damn time.
Oh, come on. You told me to watch it like
2
a
weeks
month ago.
Yeah, it took you a month to watch 24 minutes of content.
Do you know how many things I have to watch, Wade? My list is long right now.
Yeah.
Westworld is back. We might talk about that a little bit. Silicon Valley is back. Trying to finish up Broadchurch. It's just too much. It's too much for one man with a Twitch channel and a YouTube stream.
I have another show for you to watch as well.
Oh, what? Don't do it. Don't do it. Just spare me, please.
It's one season, 10 episodes, and the episodes are like 15 to 18 minutes each. Like, it's short.
All right. That does seem like a small commitment. So part of this, part of the reason it's been so hard for me is actually that I do want to watch it when I'm running. It seems like a good show for my treadmill time in the morning. Mm-hmm. So usually I use the Wi-Fi to watch stuff, except the company Wi-Fi is blocking Netflix and Hulu. And Hulu is where Log Horizon is. So normally what I would just do is just toss up my LTE connection, right? And I can afford to watch a couple Hulu things a week, and I don't go over my limit, right? And as long as I'm careful and just watch it, I'm okay. I've done this before. I've watched things on the Hulu. It actually doesn't take nearly as much bandwidth as Netflix does. Netflix is crazy a lot. Anyway, so I went to do it, and Hulu's like, I can't find the server. I was like, wait, what? No, it has the LTE right here. It looks like it's working. Then I try to browse other places, and no. Somehow, out of nowhere, in the last 2 weeks or so, my gym at work has stopped being able to receive the LTE signal with any level of adequate usable strength. I don't know if it's my phone. I don't know if somehow the T-Mobile network has dropped a tower somewhere and now the closest one is 20 miles away instead of 5 miles away. I don't know what it is, but strange. I can't do anything that requires just regular mobile network now while I'm running, and it sucks.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's not great. And if it was like Netflix, where you can download content, like I could download it at home on the Wi-Fi and then watch it from local storage on my phone, but Hulu doesn't have that option.
Right.
I don't know. Hulu needs to get its act together is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. But how did you find the first episode?
Oh, right. I guess we could talk about the actual show. It was good. I don't know. My reaction when it was over was it feels kind of wish fulfillment, where it's like, wouldn't it be cool if you were in your favorite video game and you were really good at it, and this girl was like, thanks for saving me. I'm going to be your personal servant from now on. And there was this big oafish doofus around to make you look like a decent human being. Like, everything's just perfect for this guy. And he's like, I don't even have to do anything. You just have to be a good person who's like, sure, you can have this potion, no big deal. And the girl's like, I will serve you forever. And I'm also attractive, so that's cool. I don't know. It just felt... Is that kind of the theme of the show?
No, that's like setting up the characters that she has.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a roleplay fetish, but she does, like... she does do a thing that is, I'm his personal ninja.
Right.
And he, like, it comes up every now and then in the show, and he does, like, kind of get weirded out by it. He's, like, just kind of, like, lets it go because it's easier to not to do anything. The big dude, the Guardian, he's not dumb, but he is kind of silly for that first episode.
He sucks. Okay, totally comes on to Ninja Girl, gets kicked in the head, and then 45 seconds later, he comes on to Ninja Girl and gets kicked in the head, and then complains about it. Come on, man.
He's not necessarily coming on to Ninja Girl. He's just being, himself.
I don't see how those things are mutually exclusive, Wade.
They're not. He's not specifically trying to bone down with Akatsuki.
Would he if she said yes?
No, because his, like, romance story path in the show goes elsewhere.
Fine.
It does just become a running theme that he will say something lewd or go to, and she's just like, I'm gonna punch him in the face, and then asks permission afterwards. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. That's, like, the show is a Japanese anime, and there's always going to be Japanese things that the anime that, like, their culture just finds a little more acceptable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't turn into, like, well, he slowly collects an army of ninjas who, you know, clean his house for him every day. That doesn't happen.
Okay, that's good. I wasn't worried about that specifically, but I'm glad it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll keep at it. I'm going to have to watch it at home, and home minutes are much, much more restricted than running minutes, it turns out. But I'll keep going with it.
Okay.
I will keep going.
Okay, instead... Oh, wait, no, you said Netflix was blocked, didn't you?
It is, but Netflix is easier because I can download it at home and
Right.
watch it while I run because it's locally stored.
Okay, so the show I've recently started watching and finished is called Agretsuko.
Agretsuko. I'll pull up my Netflix now and see if I can find it.
It's like a world where all the people are like animal people. So the main character, Retsuko, is a red panda, and she hates her office job. She just hates it, hates her boss, hates that her career is like dead end going nowhere, and to relieve like the tension and frustrations of her shitty job, she does death metal karaoke.
Sounds about right. And sounds a little boring.
No.
Is that it?
No,
Okay.
that's like the premise.
Well, premises can be interesting. This sounds like random person bored with job outlet through karaoke. How do you spell Agretsuko?
Agretsuko.
Okay, I found it. The character has a stack of papers on her head.
Yes, people like dump their work on her, quite literally.
That sucks. Okay, here's me downloading the first episode, and I'll watch it tomorrow.
Cool. My God, next day watching. How did I earn this service?
I don't know, because Log Horizon wasn't bad.
Oh God, don't like it. Yeah, I don't know. You might like hate this. I don't know, and then you're never gonna trust me again for the next one because I'll be 50-50 on
No
recommendations.
promises, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'll give it a try. It's all good. Other shows that I am currently watching, Westworld is back. Did we ever talk about Westworld last year?
I don't think so.
It never came up once? I find this hard to believe.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
Right, I guess that's probably why.
It might have come up.
But you were like, I don't watch it. And I said, oh, that's cool. I like it. The end.
Yeah.
Sounds like one of our conversations. Yeah. So I saw a tweet that summed up my feelings about the season premiere pretty nicely. Said, oh, yeah, I forgot how it takes me an hour to watch Westworld and 5 hours to Google and try to figure out what the heck I just watched. It's a little bit confusing. In this first episode, there are 3 separate timelines we're dealing with.
Okay.
I mean, not necessarily timelines, but like 3 different things are going on at different times, but it's not like time travel timelines where things are different based on what's happened in the past. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
A different timeline can just be a point in the timeline.
Yes. So there's no time travel, but they keep jumping back and forth to different parts of the current existing timeline. And it kind of takes you a minute to figure out what's going on, and then you have to get in that mindset for a while, and it's just... So that doesn't help. And then nobody's ever very upfront about what they're doing, which doesn't help either, but it's good. I like robot movies, good sci-fi, and that's kind of a big deal for me right now.
Fair enough.
Yes. So maybe is the Westworld available on any of your streaming services?
It's HBO, I believe.
It is HBO.
HBO's got their own streaming service, like HBO Now or something? Or is that Hulu? Yeah. No, I can't
There's
get
HBO Now and HBO Go for people who subscribe through their regular provider. Anyway.
that. Yeah, I don't think I can get that.
It's cool. So bottom line, it's back. I'm watching. I'll probably watch next week, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
So I saw this story today on the news, and the title is Australian Boy Flies to Bali After Stealing His Mom's Credit Card. It's a wonderful headline.
Okay, hold on.
12-year-old.
12-year-old, he just had his passport?
Sure, why not?
I don't know. Because parents usually like, well, this is important. It's like, it's an official document. I'm going to put it somewhere safe.
Oh, I see. So it's not weird that he had one. It's weird that he had access to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. If I traveled somewhere out of the country with the kids and got them passports, I wouldn't just be like, okay, hang on to this, keep it in your dresser, because they lose it and they're not cheap to replace.
Exactly.
So even just for that reason alone, you'd think they'd keep it under lock and key. But well, also the kid had access to his mom's credit card. That's another part of the story here.
Well, I mean, you could go through your mother's purse while she was in the shower or something.
Well, maybe the passports were in the purse. I don't know.
Could be.
That's a real dumb place for them. Okay, so bottom line, the passport thing is a problem. The credit card thing, less so. But yeah, it says he was ingenious enough to realize he could fly alone on multiple Australian airlines from Sydney to Denpasar with just a valid passport and a student ID. He told his parents he was heading to school. Oh, it says after tricking his grandmother into giving him his passport. I should have read more closely. His grandma was in on it. Well, she was an unwilling accomplice.
How do you trick someone into giving you your passport?
Yeah, old people are kind of easy to trick depending on their mental state.
Yeah. I mean, it also doesn't say how old the grandmother is.
No, it doesn't. Or it could have simply just been, hey, I need to take my passport to school for a project. Like just a really flimsy, thin excuse. But grandma's like, my grandson's a good boy. I trust him implicitly, right?
Yeah, or maybe it's like, hey, mum wants my passport. Can you go grab it for me?
Oh, yeah, that'd be good too. There's lots of options here. Anyway, so he was reported missing March 8th. It doesn't say when he flew out. I wonder, I mean, it must have been same day. Like he doesn't come home from school, he's reported missing. Right. Or do schools in Australia do the thing where they call the parents if somebody's absent and it's unexcused?
Sometimes, if it's like a repeated thing.
Well, here, when I was growing up anyway, so this is a long time ago. If you were absent from school and they didn't have anything on file, like you were at the doctor or something, then they would robocall your parents and be like, your student is not in school today. So I'm just wondering, maybe they did that.
It's possible.
Regardless, I mean, I think the latest they report him missing is end of school day when he doesn't come home, right?
Right.
He's 12.
Yeah.
There's no way they're like, oh, he's just out with friends. Like, no. Although, again, it's Australia. Maybe Australian kids are more independent than American kids.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so.
Okay. We'll just say it was probably less than 24 hours. So here's the thing. He went missing March 8th, and the Indonesian police finally located him on March 17th.
9 days, yeah.
That's 9 days. He's in Indonesia.
Yeah.
What was he doing? This is like Home Alone on steroids.
I don't know what he was doing. He just wanted to go, I guess.
I don't know. As a parent, right? I've got a kid who's 10. He's almost 12. When we found him, I would be pretty torn between being incredibly happy and relieved that he's not dead. Okay.
Right.
That's like, the terror I would go through if my kid was missing for that long. So there's that. And just wanting to murder him as soon as he's back, right? Because what? How? Why? How did we raise you so poorly? You could have died. You put us through this. You're never leaving the house again.
Chain him up in the basement.
Yeah. Chain him up in the basement and nobody would blink an eye.
I approve. Yeah.
Like the police and child protective services would hear about it and they'd be like, oh, is that the kid who went to Indonesia for a week? Yeah, it's fine. You keep him chained up down there.
I mean, you could just call the travel authority and have him put on a no-fly list.
Yeah, that's true. And that's, there is something about that here. Travel alert to prevent.
Yeah, it was not placed on the boy. Added the agency does not have the power to cancel passports or request cancellation of a passport if the person holding the passport is not a criminal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd have something in place for if it's a minor and the legal guardian's like, he needs to come home. Could you cancel that passport? Apparently not. Apparently not, Australian Federal Police. Man, those guys just live and let live. Live and let live. Is that what it is?
Sure.
So yeah, I just thought that was an insane story, and it was an Australian. I thought maybe you could provide some additional perspective on this, whether this is something that happens a lot or if this is very strange to you too.
I mean, if this was commonplace, CNN wouldn't be reporting it.
Well, CNN's an American news organization. Maybe we find it weird, but you don't.
Maybe, but they would definitely like list this in like somewhere in here being like, and this happens at least 12 times a week.
Yeah. It's like, by the way, Australian audiences won't even click on this story because they don't care.
12 stories Australians won't click on. Number 8 will shock you.
Yes. We should come up with that list sometime, but not right now. We don't have time. Speaking of Australian police, I heard a rumor that you had an interaction with Australian police the other day.
Actually, last night, I was on my way to work. It was supposed to be my day off, but I got called in.
Because your coworkers are lamos? Is that what happened?
Because my coworker is having a month off while his partner has like her 15th baby or something. Yeah.
No, exaggeration.
No.
It's not 15.
It might be his 15th child, but maybe not with her.
Wow. Okay, so he's got some paternity leave.
Yeah. So he's taking a month off, and it was my, as of recording, it was my brother's birthday yesterday. So we went out for dinner, and then he dropped me home, and then I got like an hour's sleep, and then I went into work.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then on my way to work, I get cops, flashing lights, and, so I pull over.
Were you weaving about the road in a drunken manner?
No,
Okay.
I was not.
Why did he pull you over?
Random breath test.
No. Really?
Yeah, that happens.
I don't think they could do that here.
Really?
I think you have to be driving erratically and under suspicion of driving under the influence to get pulled over for a breathalyzer, like probable cause.
Yeah, I guess, but that just seems like, why wait if you just test and then you'll eventually find someone who is, but still manages to look like they're driving. What's the downside of randomly breath testing some people? It's like, okay, you inconvenience them for all of 2 minutes, or you catch someone who's drink driving.
That is just such not an American perspective. Like, why not just randomly check people for drugs? Why not just randomly check people that they're not keeping people chained up in their basement? Why not just randomly check people to make sure that they're not making whiskey in their basement?
Because
right?
there's a difference. One, you can make whiskey in your basement. Two, having someone chained up in your basement isn't a traffic violation, right? It's not something that's easily checked. You have to then enter someone's personal property. But the roads are public. You just pull someone over.
Your car's not personal property?
Your car is, but the police don't have to get in it. You just have to wind your window down and speak into a thing.
So they couldn't search your car, is what you're saying?
Probably not. I don't know specifically, but if like the breathalyzer test came back like you're over the limit, and then they might be able to search it.
Sure. Okay, so I get what you're saying there, but if the principle is it's just a minor inconvenience and we'll find somebody who's breaking the law, that can also be applied to home searches.
No.
It's just a quick 5-minute search.
No.
If you got some people chained in the basement, we'll find it, but it's not a big deal otherwise.
No, because you have to let them in. You have to stop what you're doing. There's a whole variety of things that the police need to be able to do in your home to effectively search it. They need to be able to open drawers, go into every room. People have to stop what they're doing to make sure that they're not obstructing the police.
No, they're just checking for people chained up. They're not opening drawers. What do you want about?
Right, well, if you're going to search the house for people chained up, why not search for firearms or narcotics?
It takes too long. We just said.
Right, it takes too long. But getting random drivers, like, if you can be pulled over at any time, and it's like, well, why risk it? I mean, other than, like, why would you risk drink driving in the first place? It's stupid, don't do it.
Well, because you're drunk and your judgment is impaired. That's kind of the catch-22 of drunk driving.
True, that's true. That's right. So it's really not an issue to be pulled over like that much. It's like 2 minutes out of your time.
Well, actually, as we've been talking, I just remembered the cops here sometimes do set up random checkpoints for DUI.
Okay.
So they will just set up random stretches of the road sometimes and pull one of every 5 cars over and just check them.
Okay.
So that does happen.
They do that here too, yeah.
I forgot that happens. I don't think I've ever been part of one of those, though. I really wonder what their rationale is, like how they decide what roads to check, because it's never the ones I'm on for some reason.
Right. Here, they choose busy roads, or main thoroughfares, and I believe because any police car has like a breathalyzer test thing in it, sometimes cops will just sit on a road down the road from a pub, wait for people to leave and then turn on the lights, pull them over.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
Police that I get, like, the first guy gets out of the car and he's like, can you just get your license out and take your helmet off? And I'm like, I already got my license out and I'm doing my helmet now. And then he goes, yeah, the other guy's gonna come up and just a breath test. I go, okay. I was worried that, like, my tail light was out or something at first.
Yeah.
He goes, oh yeah, so where are you going? And I go, I'm just going to work. And he goes, oh, cool, what are you doing? I'm a baker. And he goes, oh, it's a nice way to earn a crust.
Jeez.
I go, yeah, I make a fair bit of dough.
Oh, this was right in your wheelhouse. You were like, thank goodness. This is what I love so much.
And he goes, all right, just, do the breathalyzer test, count to 10. And he goes, do you know what the difference between a pilot and a baker is? And I go, no, I don't know the difference. And he goes, one makes bread, the other flies planes. Drive safely.
The anti-joke. Let's hear it for Policeman Bob. His name probably wasn't Bob.
I couldn't see his name badge.
That's interesting. There were 2 cops, too. Every time I've been pulled over, it's always been a single policeman in the car.
I don't think police, it's very rare to see a police officer just by themselves driving a car. Usually if they're on, duty or whatever, there's always 2, because you don't trust people by themselves.
I guess. That's fair enough. That's what body cams are all about, is don't trust people with authority. Yeah. So they think that people who are running together are less likely to abuse their power.
Yeah, especially if you just, rotate who your partner is. So each day you get a randomly assigned partner.
Yeah, maybe.
Eventually, if you have a consistent partner, sure, you could trust them a bit better in sticky situations. But at the same time, if you are going to be abusive in your authority, then having a partner you can count on not to squeal. Squealing's a bad way to put it.
It's a 2-edged sword. Yeah, you want them to trust each other in, like you said, sticky situations, but then you don't want them to cover for each other when they're breaking the law.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's difficult. I was going to say that actually segues quite nicely into the Super Troopers.
Okay.
Because, have you seen Super Troopers, the first one?
No.
You really should. It's really funny. But it's basically these cops up in Oregon somewhere, and they're highway patrolmen.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just basically about them doing stupid stuff and covering for each other. And they're just this close-knit fraternity. It's only 5 or 6 cops because this is kind of out of the way part of Oregon. And they all know each other extremely well. And the captain's kind of in on it. And it's not like they're running drugs or beating people up or anything. But they're definitely doing stuff that would get them in trouble if Internal Affairs found out. So yeah, hilarious. And the reason I bring it up is because Super Troopers 2 came out on April 20th, which was last Saturday? Something like that.
Super Troopers came out in 2002.
And then Super Troopers 2 just came out a couple days ago.
Okay.
And they crowdfunded it. It was a Kickstarter, I think. It's we're thinking about making a Super Troopers 2. If you give if you can pledge this much, then we'll make it happen. And so they did. The fans were like, yeah, let's do this thing. We trust you guys.
It's showing.
Huh?
I could go see it tonight.
Well, you have to see Super Troopers 1 first, though. See if that's on your streaming services.
Let me check Netflix, because I can already see that I can buy it for $12.
Okay. I don't know you want to... it's pretty rewatchable, though. As far as movies go, this is one of the more rewatchables.
Right. Super Troopers is on Netflix.
Ooh! Watch it, and then watch Super Troopers 2, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Cool.
I'll watch Super Troopers as well.
Okay.
I was going to say Super Troopers 2 too, but then it didn't sound right in my head, so I messed it up.
I will also watch Super Troopers 2 is another way to phrase that.
Yes. I was kind of worried about this because it's a successful comedy, and the success rate of sequels to successful comedies is real bad.
It's 50-50, I think, doing a sequel to a comedy.
And so I was like, I don't know. I almost bought a ticket to go on Sunday morning, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to pay $8 for this. What if it's a waste of time? What if it just ruins my experience with the first movie that I like a lot? And then I didn't. And I allowed myself to talk myself out of it. But then I did the thing where I actually went to a thread about Super Troopers 2 on the Reddit. And people are actually really good about not spoiling it in there. And so I was able to get kind of the opinions of some of the people who love Super Troopers 1 and saw Super Troopers 2. And they all said it was worth the $8 without spoiling anything. So I feel much better about things. And I am shamed for letting the fear decide what I did with my money and my time.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of want to go see Super Troopers, but at the same time, Avengers. Avengers comes out tomorrow.
I forgot. You get it early. Stupid Australia. Yeah, I guess you'll have to see both. You got 3 movies to watch over the next week.
3?
Good luck with that.
Oh, right. Super Troopers 1, 2, and Avengers. Right, yeah. So, are you going to be able to find time to watch Super Troopers 2 and Avengers?
Yes. I'll make it happen. I'll make it a priority. I already have tickets to Avengers, so I can't skip that one.
Fair enough.
So that one's easy. I'm going Saturday night because America.
Okay.
Actually, I think it comes here Thursday night, and then it officially, I'm saying this in quotes, officially opens Friday, and then Saturday's the second day of opening.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Have we talked about it at all? We talked about it a little bit.
Avengers
in general.
I think we've talked about it broadly. It's coming and we're excited.
And we're excited. Have I mentioned my feeling about character deaths at all?
No.
So here's the thing. I need heroes to die. When I'm playing video games, you know this by heart, I need to feel like I can die. And if I'm watching a show, I need to feel like my hero can die. And it's hard to do. I understand that it's hard to do. If you kill off your hero and they're charismatic and they're a big part of the reason the fans watch the show, you run the risk of losing viewers and everything falls apart. I totally get that. But at this point with the Avengers, we're 10 years in. Tony Stark has been Robert Downey Jr. for 10 years. We've got Chris
Evans.
Blow this up. Chris Evans, thank you. It's one of the Chris's. Chris Evans has been Captain America for almost 10 years. I mean, it's just, right? If there's a time to get new actors to take over the roles, this is going to be it. And that's something the comics have done too. Like Iron Man, I think, is currently a 14-year-old girl in the comics.
I'll take your word for
Tony
it.
Stark is done.
Yeah, he's been done before, though.
Captain America in the comics is like a third person beyond Steve Rogers. I was expecting somebody to die in Civil War that I actually cared about.
Yeah, it's called Civil War, and it was superheroes fighting each other. You expected someone to die. Instead, Rhodey just got crippled.
Yes, falls 30,000 feet, plummets to the ground, and is alive. And at that point, I let out an audible sigh in the theater. Like, this does not count as a major character that I care about, but it would have been nice if there were some stakes in this movie. Instead, everybody comes out squeaky clean and sparkling and fine. It was so cowardly. So I'm just hoping that in this movie, Thanos is a serious villain. He's very scary. He's got crazy amounts of power.
To be fair, in that movie, not everyone comes out fine. Bucky gets his arm shot off, and Cap...
he does?
Yeah. Tony Stark blows his arm off.
Thought he was missing his arm before that.
What? No, he's got two arms. One of them just metal. He gets his metal arm blown off.
Oh, so it's not his arm, it's his prosthetic. Bucky gets a prosthetic blown off.
He gets, his only reason for being a superhero blown off. I think it's kind of important.
Right? So that was it. The stakes were somebody's prosthetic gets blown off.
Tony Stark also gets, pretty roughed up, right? He doesn't die because he's Tony Stark, obviously, and you can't die yet.
Correct.
But someone should have died, and I would have been, I think that's the entire reason they were look, Thor and Hulk can't be here. Because I don't think they can do attacks without killing anyone else.
I feel like Thor's capable. Hulk is obviously less capable.
I mean, Thor maybe. But if, we've seen him, hit Tony Stark with lightning, and it just kind of, supercharges his suit for a moment.
Yes.
We've seen his hammer hit Captain America's shield, which just makes a clang.
And it levels a forest.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe fights there could be interesting. I still feel like he could just drop his hammer on anyone and they'd all die.
Right.
Except for Vision.
Except for Vision and maybe Captain America.
Avengers, someone should really die.
More than one. Because you know what? There are 27 superheroes in this movie.
Yes.
If one of them dies, it'll feel like, well, that's a 1 in 26 death rate. Maybe not enough.
Right, well, here's the thing. I remember a couple years ago, Chris Evans didn't want to renew his contract to play Captain America anymore. So he might die. Vision has a Infinity Stone in his forehead, which I don't think that can come out without it killing him.
True fact. Although, I don't know. Is Vision someone I care about? Does Vision give me a reason to care about him as a character?
Yeah, I think Vision's pretty cool.
I mean, he's cool, but do I care about him? He's somehow the embodiment of good somehow. I don't know how it works.
He doesn't have his own movie.
No, he doesn't have his own movie for good reason, because he's boring.
He's not boring.
He's Captain America without the angst and the conflicted life choices. He's a paladin. He's a paladin without the crazy over-the-top self-righteousness that paladins sometimes have.
Maybe. I don't know. I think he could do his own movie. I think it would work. I think he's just overpowered.
He's overpowered. That's a problem, yes. But what is his personality? What is it?
Problem that he hasn't had enough screen time to really explore that. I think he could be a good character.
He's had as much screen time as Hawkeye has, and Hawkeye has a personality.
Hawkeye's had more.
He's had more, but not much. Not much.
Hawkeye's also a person. It's a lot easier to make a personality for a human work. He's got a family. He cares for his friends. There we go. He's also kind of, sarcastic sometimes, right?
He's sarcastic. He feels insecure because he's around literal gods all the time and he can shoot a bow and arrow real well.
Yes.
See, these are things we know about Hawkeye. And yes, it is harder to make us care about a robot, but that doesn't excuse it, right? It doesn't mean it's not boring. It means it is boring. It can be hard.
Maybe instead of his own movie, he should get a Netflix series. Because he is a robot and you can explore that he's discovering how his body works and operates. and, you know, his relationship with Scarlet Witch. So there's clearly things he just doesn't know about himself that could be discovered, like, in a series where it's about an android trying to fit
100%. I'm not saying it's impossible, because there are pages and pages of android robot characters that are interesting and people care about them. Data from Star Trek is one. Even something like HK-47 from the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games had a personality.
Sure.
Are you familiar with the HK-47?
No.
Have you? Okay, so HK-47 is an assassination droid
Okay.
that you pick up, and he wants to kill all humans. He sees us as meatbags and worthless, and given the opportunity, he would murder us all, and he's very capable of doing it.
Okay.
But he's not allowed to, because he's yours. He's the player character's property. You buy him. Passive-aggressively makes it clear that he'd rather be killing meatbags, but I guess he can take the time to help you on this quest. He's fantastic. And that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be a complex character, but give him some personality. All Vision does is stare solemnly at people and say things that sound wise and like fly around and shoot things with a laser beam. It's Superman, but worse. At least Superman has some insecurity as Clark Kent. Vision has none of that stuff. Just say, you're right, Falcon, and we'll move on.
I mean, I think Superman's the worst character, but yes, you're right. You're right.
You think Superman's worse than Vision?
Yeah.
They're both super overpowered. What's the worse?
Superman's just entirely boring. I don't think he's actual insecurities or anything to worry about. He's like literal god on this planet, and yet you're worried about what?
But his Clark Kent is relatable. He doesn't fit in with humanity. He's got a crush on Lois Lane and doesn't know how to express it. He's worried that she's just in love with Superman and couldn't like him at all. There's things about his Clark Kent that are interesting.
But if she's in love with Superman and he's Superman, what's the problem?
He's two different people.
No.
Clark Kent is not Superman.
Clark Kent is him trying to blend in because he needs to do that for some reason.
For some reason, exactly.
He quite literally doesn't need to do that. He's a literal god, and the only time his godlike powers become anything interesting is when he turns evil.
Well, I read about this time in the comics where there are these like B-list supervillains flying around causing havoc, and he took them out in a fairly sadistic way. He basically pretended to murder 3 of them, and then the last one, who had the ability to kind of make people die with his mind somehow, that was his power.
Yeah.
Superman used a combination of his X-ray vision and his heat vision to give the man a partial lobotomy.
Yeah, I've seen this, yeah.
Okay, so is that evil Superman?
Yes, because that's after, like, Lois dies and he turns evil.
Okay, I was not aware that was evil Superman. I thought that was just regular type Superman doing something awesome.
No, that was him being like, I'm going bad and I'm going to, like, take this guy's powers away without him knowing and then kind of beat him around.
And that's as bad as he gets. Like, bad Superman is taking down supervillains still. Broken God interesting. We could make Vision interesting by pushing him to a breaking point.
Well, no, I don't think him breaking's interesting either, because it's all they do. He's a god who's invulnerable to a rock, and they have to find a way to break him. It's boring, because they do it all the time, and if they don't do it, he's just a Boy Scout.
Correct. And that's what Vision is. I don't see how you're saying anything that's different between Superman and Vision right now.
Rule of cool.
Rule of cool. Vision is cooler.
Vision is way cooler. I think Vision has greater potential. I think Superman's been done for like the last 40 years. And I know
he's newer and shinier.
And I know Vision's got
All
comics coming out the wazoo from ages ago. And, you know, he has a family and stuff in the comics. And he could be interesting. I want to watch more Vision. I don't want to watch more Superman.
Okay, so that's your difference. I get that. That is entirely fair. I still say Vision is incredibly boring.
Do you, like, see him on screen and be like, well, this is just uninteresting?
I forget he exists. I really do. I'm like, I'm going to look at an Infinity War poster. I hope it's not spoiler early. And I'm like, who's that guy? Oh, right, Vision. Yeah, he's a thing.
Okay.
So yes, he's incredibly boring. He stands around in like sweaters and turtlenecks in Age of Ultron. I don't know. Or is that even... I don't even know. When's he got the sweater combo on? Is that in Civil War?
That's Civil War.
That's Civil War, okay.
That's him trying to blend in, but he still can't because he's just like, I don't see the need for doors. I can just walk through walls. And they're like, yeah, but you have to knock to come in. But the door is open.
Personal space. So that's the data android storyline. That's the I don't understand what it is to be human. And if you explore that enough, that gets interesting, I think. But they don't nearly explore it enough. It's like personal space Vision, and he's like, my bad, and we're going to move on.
Sure.
That's all. That's all I'm saying.
And then there's him attempting to cook. And Scarlet Witch is like, this is, like, whatever it is you're trying to do, you've completely failed. And he's like, I guess we could just order pizza, and I really don't need to eat myself ever.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not going to see Infinity War because of Vision. That's it.
No, I'm not saying he's the main selling
You're not
point.
either.
No.
Not even close to main. Like, he's just, again, I forget he exists.
He's important for Infinity War because he has an Infinity Stone.
Yes, he's a MacGuffin. He's an object in the film that exists to further the plot. Oh, that was rude of me. That was very mean to Vision.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's really minimizing his part as a person.
He's not a person. He's a robot. He's a self-righteous, sanctimonious robot.
He has a personality. He has intelligence. He is aware.
He's self-righteous and sanctimonious.
You're robo-racist.
I'm not. I just gave you examples of robots that are great.
You're robo-racist division. Robo-racist.
All right. When this posts in the Discord under the Falcon Paladin Hour, you guys can tell Wade's wrong. All right, but this all goes back to the fact that if the hero, I put in quotation marks, that dies in Infinity War is Vision, I'm going to be disgruntled. I'm going to be upset. It doesn't count.
If he's the only one that dies, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm not saying if
page.
he's the one who dies, I'll be perfectly happy. Be like, okay, that was clearly justifiable. A guy who collects stones that can destroy entire planets if they touch it, and he kills one robot dude. Yeah, no. I would expect Scarlet Witch, Vision. I kind of like to see some...
B-list. Mm-hmm.
Look.
Falcon, he can die too, also B-list.
Yeah, he could die. I would like to see some of the Guardians of the Galaxy die. I don't think any of their B-list.
Oh no, Guardians of the Galaxy. I forgot about them. They're in the movie too, huh?
I don't think Spider-Man will die because he's young.
Yes, and the best part of Civil War is Baby Spider-Man, like by far. He's in there for 10 minutes and he's so great. I love Baby Spider-Man.
I'm looking at the poster and I do not see Ant-Man. Then
he's in here too.
He could be really small. He could be really small.
He could be on there, just too small to see without a microscope.
Yeah.
That'd be funny, actually. He's in there, but just like 4 pixels big.
Yeah. That's great.
I need an A-lister to die. I really need either Cap or Iron Man to bite the dust, and then someone else can take up the mantle. Someone else can be Captain America, someone else can be Iron Man, and it's cool. That's what I need. I need this, Wade.
You need their deaths.
I do. How would you feel about either of those characters dying?
Conceptually, I'm fine with it. It's how they do it that worries me.
Oh, yes. Execution is big, for sure.
If like, there's a scene in, like, the trailer where you see Captain America running at some stuff. He just gets shot from, like, an artillery piece, and it's like, 10 seconds into the movie, he's dead. It's like, what?
Yeah, like the Bane death in Dark Knight Rises.
I don't remember that movie.
Yeah, okay, so Bane is this big, strong, scary dude who comes out of nowhere and takes over Gotham, and he beats the crap out of Batman.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he's terrifying, and they're fighting at the end. It's the rematch, and Batman's holding his own, and he's learned a lot. And then Catwoman rides in on a motorbike and shoots Bane with some missiles, and he dies.
Oh, okay.
Like, he gets blown off screen, and we never see him again. It is the worst.
Okay, that sounds pretty terrible.
Yeah, so if that's how Captain America dies, yes, I'll be bummed. That sucks. It's a terrible way to get rid of a character.
I didn't like Dark Knight Rises.
Me neither. So there's that, and my retcon for Dark Knight Rises that makes it better is that when Alfred sees Bruce Wayne and Catwoman happy and in love together in Paris, it's a hallucination. He's just an old man. He wants to see it so bad that he sees it, but he's not really seeing it. That fixes so many things. Bruce Wayne is dead. He sacrificed himself to save Gotham. It's much a better story than he somehow magically escaped and is now having a love tryst with Catwoman. It was so stupid.
He didn't magically escape. He fixed the autopilot. It's not magic. It's just a terrible plot point.
It was magic because it's been a while since I thought about this, but for him to bail from the bat plane at a radius far enough to where the nuke didn't incinerate him is impossible. They really work hard to make us think that he's on that plane and the nuke explodes. And then they're like, just kidding, he's fine. And I was just threw popcorn at the screen. Boo.
Did you?
No, I wanted to. I was feeling it. It's feeling disgruntled. A lot of disgruntled today. So yeah, my retcon is just that Alfred hallucinates seeing Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is dead. He heroically sacrificed himself. Now we have another Batman. End of discussion. That's it. That's all we have to do. Why do make it complicated?
I think that's fine, but I really don't like that they have the Christopher Nolan, because he did the 3 Batman films, didn't he?
He did. Batman Begins and Dark Knight are wonderful Batman films. Dark Knight Rises is largely eh.
Yeah. I like that they had a successful trilogy of Batman movies, and then they don't use them in the rest of the DCU, right? It's like, oh, new Batman.
Yeah.
It's like, you had 3 successful popular films, why not roll with that? And it's like, oh, it's too dark. Okay, it's too dark because you want to compete with Marvel. Okay.
Well, roll with it how? What do you mean?
Like,
How would they roll with it?
you could, like, the things that happen in those 3 movies compared to, like, the new Batman, you know, who's Batman now?
Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Batfleck, right?
Uh-huh.
They're just, like, not there. They're not canon, like, to his character. They might be, like, he's clearly had run-ins with the Joker, but it's like you have a successful actor who's done cool things that people like as Batman, or at least don't hate. You've got someone who's playing the butler, I can't remember his name, that people like.
Michael Caine. Mm-hmm. Alfred.
Alfred, thank you.
Oh, you mean having the same actors reprise their roles in
Right.
the DC versions of Batman? Interesting.
Yeah, but that's partially it. But at the same time, those stories aren't canon now. That Batman never went through those specific things, and like for at least the first 2
Bane
movies,
doesn't exist?
he might exist, but it's not this Dark Knight Rises story that we would know.
Interesting. Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's incredibly dumb. They had a hugely successful trilogy of movies, and then they just ditched it because it was too dark.
Since when do they care about being too dark? Since when are the Batman movies not dark? Since when is Batfleck a happy... I don't understand.
He's not exactly a happy-go-lucky dude.
He shoots people with guns.
Does he?
Yeah, Batman versus Superman.
And he shoots Superman, who can take it. All right, I mean...
No.
Oh,
You ever
right,
seen this scene?
right. Yeah, I was forgetting like the scene where he puts a GPS tracker on a van and then follows the van in his car and runs people over. Yes, I now remember.
So there's that, but there's like a warehouse fight scene where he gets a gun off a henchman and just starts shooting dudes with it. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's another problem with it. It's just Batman is entirely internally inconsistent.
Yes.
So annoying.
So annoying. Anyway, the point is...
The point is they wanted to compete with Marvel, which is kind of a less dark universe than Christopher Nolan's Batman. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, that's popular. We need to make it like that. Let's not have this be canon.
It was dumb. Obviously, it was dumb because the DC universe is not nearly as good as the Marvel one,
Exactly.
both in Rotten Tomato scores and in money earned at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Both metrics that matter, and related metrics often. But yeah, Infinity War coming up. I need somebody big to die. If they don't, the next podcast is going to be super, super upset. I'm just going to rant about it the entire time. It'll be the why Infinity War sucked rant.
Do we want to do like an Infinity War special? Like just that?
Yeah, I think we should. I think it's going to be, it's like 2 hours 40?
Okay.
2 hours 40, and then there's going to be an after credit scene, and there's just going to be so much stuff to unpack. I say we plan on it.
If you watch the entire movie and let's say Captain America and Iron Man die, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I can live with that. And like Thor has like lost his power somehow. Like, let's just say all the big 3 are just like completely wrecked by this movie. And then at the end, like a genie just kind of like brings him back to life in the post-credit scene.
No.
Will you be mad?
No. Oh, you know the answer to this question.
But they died in the movie.
I would demand a refund. That's how mad I would be.
Whoa.
I'd go out and be like, this is garbage. I want my $8 back. I'm sorry, sir. We're getting a lot of those complaints tonight, they will say.
Right, like Stephen Strange just like he has his time stone or whatever, and he's like, and bring you back to life. And then Mordo shows up, and he's like, stop messing with natural order. The bill comes due always.
And then the end.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange just looks at the camera and goes, did I do that? And the end. Oh, this kills me. So, Infinity War, gonna be good. So we got Super Troopers 2 and an Infinity War to do.
Yes.
You got Super Troopers 1. All right, I think we're good. I think we have our homework assignments.
Cool.
Did you want to talk about Anzac Day?
Ooh, yeah, it's Anzac Day tomorrow, which is also, there was some like minor controversy that Infinity War was coming out on a public holiday about remembering Australian and New Zealand forces that died in war.
Fair.
Yeah.
Americans are cool with movies coming out on the 4th of July.
4th of July is like your
it's-
Independence Day, right? It's like
Yeah.
celebrating the country, not remembering. Like, how about Memorial Day or like
Memorial Day. We do that too.
Okay.
Actually, I think several Marvel movies have come out on Memorial Day, so we don't care.
Oh, okay.
We absolutely do not care.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, it is a National Day of Remembrance in Australia and New Zealand that broadly commemorates all Australians and New Zealanders who served and died in all wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's extremely broad. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anzac Day. Why is it named after the biscuits? Just because they're military food?
The biscuits were named after the Anzacs, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. It was named after them. And
All right. It's just weird if United States Memorial Day was like Oreo Day or something. Is it weird to you at all that it's also a biscuit?
No, because
Okay.
the biscuit has like traditional ties to the event as well. Like, so it's not like a massive worry. It's also like, because it's Anzac, it's kind of a fun word.
It is. It's real fun to say. Anzac. But there's church tie-ins you were mentioning previously.
Yeah, so the service is a remembrance ceremony. It's not so much a church service.
Oh, all right. After the First World War, returned soldiers sought the comradeship they felt in those quiet, peaceful moments before dawn.
Yes.
That's the origin. So do they just have these all over Australia then?
I believe so, yeah.
New Zealand? So where's the closest one to where you are? Is it far?
I'm not entirely sure. I believe, the closest one would probably just be the city of Sydney.
Yeah, for sure. So how far are you from the city of Sydney?
An hour train.
All right, not bad.
Well,
good. If you do decide to go, we'll talk about it next week, in addition to our Infinity War stuff.
I mean, I can already tell you I'm not going to go.
Oh, never mind. Never mind then. We're good.
I don't think strictly being in attendance to one of these things is the only way to be respectful. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay, that's good. Well, I've learned about what Anzac Day is, so I say that is good.
Are you going to, in your thoughts tomorrow, have a moment of silence?
Yes. All right. NBA Minute. Let's wrap up NBA Minute.
Oh, right. NBA Minute.
We'll call it good. Get ready for that bathroom break.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
Playoffs are great. The playoffs are great. They're so good, you guys. There was the one sweep. New Orleans over Portland, which nobody saw coming, so that doesn't really count as a sweep because it was amazing. Golden State, San Antonio 3-1. Houston, Minnesota 3-1. Oklahoma, Utah 2-1. But Utah is leading Oklahoma City right now, 78-66 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. I feel like they're going to pull that out. I hope it didn't jinx them. Toronto, Washington tied 2-2. Cleveland, Indiana 2-2, 3-1. Miami, Boston, and Milwaukee are tied 2-2. Yes, this is playoffs. It is amazing. And I feel like Utah's going to move on to the next round. They're going to play Houston. I don't really have faith that they can beat them, but they're playing really well right now, so maybe they can. New Orleans, the darling of the playoffs right now. I think they can give Golden State a run for their money, especially if Steph Curry is hurt. And out of the East, I'm going to put my money on, I'm going to say Philly coming out. Philly looks amazing. Ben Simmons is incredible, the Australian point guard we've talked about before in the podcast. And as long as Embiid stays healthy, I feel like they can get to the finals.
Go Jazz.
Sixers, man. Go Jazz. All right. So that's going to be it from us. Please check out the Discord. You can come hang out with us. Mentioned that previously. Hang out with local celebrities like Spence and Mini Titan. You should also if you feel the need to support the podcast, you can do so through our Patreon that allows access to Let's Plays with Falcon and Wade, currently playing Pit People, turn-based strategy game. Very, very fun. Makes us laugh quite a bit. And also there's merch, if you want to check that out too. So that's going to be it. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for listening, and you take care of yourself.